Hey VC, Midge here, a guy in a hat who just loves to talk about records. And we're going through a really hot spell of sunny weather at the moment in the UK. It's been an absolute blistering heat wave. It's been 35 this week, which is unheard of in this country. So we've all been suffering a little bit, but I thought I'd give you a few tips before the video starts. So obviously keep hydrated. I know they say to drink water, but where's that ever got anybody? Stay in the shade, stay cool. And I'm obviously sat on a Wars Viennetta at the moment, pure bliss, to keep myself cool. And remember to check on your elderly neighbours, because apparently, and I didn't know this until recently, that old people can get hot too. I know, mind blower. So check on your elderly neighbours, make sure they're not too hot. But it's not about hot elderly neighbours, because that's a bit disturbing and that's a different topic of video altogether. So check that your elderly neighbours aren't hot, not that the hot elderly neighbours, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I'm glad we've cleared that up. So today's video is a thread response video. There's loads of threads going around at the moment, and I'd like to do them all, but it's just time, innit? It's time. But this is a thread response to Lloyd, who's an Australian VC member, and he's a fellow hat enthusiast, so that's why I thought I'd do this video. You know, us hat enthusiasts has to stick together. And he's celebrating his 1 year in the VC, although he has had channels before, but I think he's been locked out of them and things like that. So he's been around a bit, but this is his first year with this channel, and I think he's trying to get to 400 subs. So let's get in there. And I like Lloyd. He speaks his mind. He doesn't dilly-dally about. If he likes something, he'll tell you. If he doesn't like something, he'll tell you as well. But he's really enthusiastic about the records he shows, and he's one of those people that I really like in terms of he'll just show what he likes, and he doesn't care if it's cool, if it's not cool, or whatever. He'll just, this is what I'm listening to, and I think it's cool. And I think it's cool that people think it's cool to show records they think is cool, and not just what's other people say is cool. Cool? Okay, so that's out of the way. So his thread is all revolving around the number 1. So he's got 10 prompts, all involving 1. And let's get to it. 1 minute. Keep hydrated at all times. Okay. Prompt 1. Show an album with 1 in the title. Well, I think I've done better than that, because this album's got 1 in the title 3 times. And it's Badly Drawn Boy, and it's 1 + 1 is 1. And I think this is one of his most underrated albums, to be honest. And another one of those artists that, I always think should be bigger than they are. Great songwriter, quite quirky at times, but, just one of those songwriters in a classic mould of songwriting. Really underrated. I think that was his then wife on the back cover. Artwork by Andy Vittel, and Andy Vittel also co-produces the album. 14 tracks, just a really good album. One of his most underrated albums, I think. I was listening to it again the other day and I've forgotten how good it was, but yeah, great album. So that's what year was that? 2004. So that's Badly Drawn Boy. 1 + 1 is 1. Okay, next prompt. Show an artist known by 1 name only. Quite a few to choose from here, but I've gone for this. And this is from 1967, 68. And it's the band Tomorrow. Love this album. A one and done album. It's one of my all-time favourite psychedelic albums. And it's got some classic tracks on it. It's got obviously the classic My White Bicycle on it. Colonel Brown, Real Life Permanent Dream. 3 Jolly Little Dwarfs. I mean, they don't write them like that anymore for some reason. And obviously this band contained Keith West, Twink, who obviously went on to playing the Pretty Things as I think it was he the drummer? Could have been the drummer. But yeah, psychedelic band. Obviously Keith West was sort of taken from Tomorrow to join Mark Wertz's sort of psychedelic opera, the teenage opera. So Keith West was pinched to do the vocals for excerpt from a teenage opera, Grocer Jack, Grocer, that sort of thing. So that sort of split the band up. So I think there was quite a few resentments about Keith West having a big hit and not being part of the band, and it became Tomorrow featuring Keith West, and I think everyone else got a bit cheesed off about that, but and the band split. But it's a shame because this is just a great period piece, great psychedelic album. Obviously it's lots of the time sort of vocals and phased effects and things like that, but the songwriting's great on it. And this is an import, so it actually contains the excerpt from a teenage opera as well on this issue. And yeah, just a great psychedelic pop album. So that's an artist known by one name only, Tomorrow. Next one, show a one-word album title. I've gone for Linda Perhacs and her album Parallelograms. Another sort of obscure one and done, although she did make another album, I think 44 years after this, when this sort of emerged from the collector's scene and became like a bit of a hidden gem. I think she did come back and make another album. But yeah, this is a great album. Released in 1970. I think they put a lot of money behind this album, thinking she was going to be the next big thing, but it just no sort of promotion, and it sort of vanished, which is a real shame because the songs are really strong. Linda writes them all. She plays a lot of instruments on the album, and the vocals are amazing. It's sort of 1 minute it's sort of like high pitched, the next it sounds like she's whispering into your ear. And obviously there's a lot of electronic effects and layered vocals on this album, so it's quite ahead of its time, and it's got like a really cool sort of psychedelic sort of tinge to it as well, which just makes it a great album. So it's in the sort of folk vein, but it's like psychedelic folk, and it's a bit weird and twisted at times. On the title track, Parallelograms, it's all on layered vocals. Paper Mountain Man is a great sort of catchy song. Chimicum Rain with, again, layered vocals and psychedelic effects whirling around. And yeah, just a great sort of singer-songwriter psych sort of folk album that was just vanished and then was reissued years later, and people, caught wind of it and how good it was. And yeah, this is a repress on Gerson. It's a bit battered, actually. I could do with a better copy of it, so I'm going to start looking out for another reissue. Not an original, obviously, because I'm not Al Fayed or anything like that, so yeah, I can't afford stuff like that, so I'll be looking out for another reissue. And yeah, that's my album with the one-word song title. Okay, show an album you dislike. Oh no, sorry, I've jumped one there. Number 4. The professional in this video is superb, isn't it? You can tell I've had a few beers. Stay hydrated at all times. Okay, let's get back on track. Show a one-word song title. Now, for this one, I've gone for Neil Innes, although it's Eric Idle and Neil Innes. So this is a comedy record, and it's based around the TV show Rutland Weekend Television. If you've never seen it, all the episodes are on YouTube. It'll never be released commercially because it's tied up in all sorts of licensing issues. Obviously, it features Eric Idle, who had left Monty Python. Well, when Monty Python ended, this was the thing he did next. And it's sort of like a show that's based around public broadcasting. So it's a fictional TV station that makes its own programmes fronted by Eric Idle. So he was ahead of his time because obviously, that sort of stuff's been going on for years now. But an idea ahead of its time. So Eric Idle wrote the sketches and the TV sort of spoof programmes, and Neil Innes did from the Bonzo Band, Dog Doodah Band, did all the songs. So this is the album that they took from the series. So it's a mixture of sketches and songs. And obviously Neil Innes is a big hero of mine. I think he's great. Really funny guy, and wrote some really underrated songs. So there were 2 series of the Rutland Weekend Television. I highly recommend you check them out. George Harrison features quite strongly on the Christmas special. And yeah, like I say, this is the BBC Records compilation of the 2 series. And the song I've picked is Testing, which is a really cool song. It only lasts 30 seconds maybe, but it also features the word one in it quite a lot of times. So not only is it a one-word title, it features one in the lyrics quite prominently. And I'm going to play the whole thing now.
Hello, testing. 1, 2. Testing.
1, 2.
How do you do? Testing.
1, 2,
It's wonderful
to
be here. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2.
So yeah, that was Neil Innes and Testing, and also if you remember, Rutland Weekend Television also gave birth to the Ruttles as well. So it's a really cool programme that deserves more attention in my eyes. But if it wasn't for the Rutland Weekend Television, you'd have no Ruttles. So there you go. Okay, next one. Show one album you dislike. Now, I've got a bit of a problem with this one because I don't really have albums I dislike, because if I buy an album and I dislike it, I move it on straight away. I don't even keep it. I know there's an argument for keeping them because in time your taste might change and things like that, but I don't tend to keep albums that I dislike. Although I will tell you an artist that I don't have that I do dislike, and it's Nick Cave. And no surprise to anybody who regularly watches my channel. Can't stand him, don't understand the fuss around him. Only got 2 words to say about Nick Cave.
Shite!
And what's the other one?
Shite!
He's just a deep whinger, really, deep-throated whinger, in my opinion. But if I did have a record, it would probably look like this. So this is Nick Cave with his famous, huge forehead and his sort of very bad sort of balding type, I'm keeping hold of my hair type thing. So just imagine this is a Nick Cave record. So yeah, I don't like Nick Cave, can't stand him. So I'll be moving that on very shortly. Okay, show an album you love. And again, I was thinking, this is the moment where you go through your record collection and you pull out something really cool and obscure that nobody else could possibly get. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be honest. This is an album I really, really love. And I've loved it for a long time. And it has, with a lot of music you love, it's often tied up in memories or childhood or things like that. And this is one that counts for me. Always reminds me of my dad because he was a really big fan of them. And I do love this album. I absolutely love this album. I never get bored of it. And it's Dire Straits. And it's Love Over Gold. And I think this is an absolute classic album. Forget Brothers in Arms because it's pish, but this is a classic album. It's absolutely fantastic. And in fact, Dire Straits was the first band I ever saw live because my dad took me. So that was my first ever gig. But Love Over Gold, what year did it come out in? Was it 82? But it's just an absolute banger of an album. It's an absolute classic. It should get more attention than it does. There is only 5 tracks on it, but each one is superb. You've got Telegraph Road, which is the 15-minute opener that sort of tells the rise and fall of a town in the middle of a desert, which is absolutely fantastic. You've got Private Investigations, which is sort of like Mark Knopfler doing like a detective stroke, Philip Marlowe film noir type song. Absolute classic. Then you've got the deep cut, which more people should be aware of, Industrial Disease. It has a really cool synthesizer riff that isn't anywhere near annoying like Walk of Life is. And that's a classic track. And then you've got Love Over Gold, which is a great ballad, and It Never Rains, 8-minute track that finishes the album. And when I was listening to this again earlier, because I knew I was going to do this video, and it struck me, which it hasn't really struck me before, but you could tell why Dylan asked Mark Knopfler to produce some of his albums in the 80s, because Mark Knopfler's got a real sort of Dylan-esque sort of eye for lyrics and characters and character studies and things like that. And a lot of the lyrics on this album, I think, are really Dylan-esque. Like character studies are quite lengthy and they sort of have obscure references and things like that. So, it's no surprise that Dylan picked him out because he probably thought they were, like-minded songwriters at one point. But yeah, Mark Knopfler's not given enough credit for songwriting and his lyrics, but honestly, this is a classic album. It's absolutely fantastic from start to finish. There's not a duff track on it. So yeah, that's one album I love, and I really do. Okay, next up, show one box set. Funnily enough, I don't buy CDs. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. I go out my way not to buy CDs because I just don't like the format. However, if there's a good box set out by an artist I like, I will buy the CDs because obviously vinyl box sets are absolutely extortionate. Although I do have a few vinyl box sets, and this is one of them, and this is super cool. So this is the Start Reality and Acting, Thinking and Feeling. This is a sort of like a soul funk jazz band from the 70s. And there was a really big sort of kerfuffle at one point in the 90s when one of their albums, I think, did DJ Shadow sample it or something? And everybody was out to get it. And the prices went up, and the Now Again label issued a version of it, which was crap. I mean, I remember buying it at the time. They cut a lot of the tracks off and they'd given it a different sleeve. And I think it was just sort of this sort of elitist record collector stuff that they didn't really want the whole album back on the market because everybody was after it. And it seemed a bit elitist to me. But Now Again did issue this box set, which was highly sought after, and I'm really glad I got a copy now. And the reason why is because it contains 3 albums. So it's got the album that everybody was after at the time, the Start Reality, Discover Hoagie Carmichael's Music Shop. It was the band doing sort of arrangements of Hoagie Carmichael, the jazz singer. It wrote on an album of songs for kids, and the Start Reality got hold of it and sort of twisted it and made it sort of like their own. So the Start Reality sound, they've got a vibraphonist in the band, and they've got like a really distinctive sound. They're sort of like jazz rock, but they've got like a really distorted sound to their instruments. It's quite feedback based and funky, obviously, but they had like a very unique sound. So this was the album that everybody was after at the time. So this is included in the box set. It's spread over 3 discs for maximum listening pleasure. But not only that, you get an album of unreleased cuts, which is really cool. And you get a booklet which goes through the band history. I think it's Monty Stark who was the vibraphonist for the band. So you get that LP of unreleased cuts, and then you get another LP called Roller Coaster Ride, which again has some extra tracks that weren't released at the time, which is really cool. Some extended jams, all in their unique sound, absolutely superb. So it's like a three LP box set. Also, you get 7-inch single with it, Red Yellow Moonbeams, and Too Much Tenderness on it. So yeah, absolutely superb box set. Love the Start Reality, and Hoagie Carmichael album is well worth seeking out. So that's my one box set. Okay, show one artist you don't love anymore or have gone off. Again, struggled with this one a bit because I move them on. I don't keep them. If I go off somebody or I don't like them, I move them on. But I did pick out this album, which might be a bit unfair, really. But the band are called the High Llamas. Its frontman was Sean O'Hagan, he does lots of plays on lots of other people's records. He's quite famous for being part of Stereolab at one point in the 90s, and he's an arranger and a composer. And he made a series of albums under the project name The High Llamas. And I bought this one back in the day. This is an original. I think it's been reissued since 1996. And it's sort of like a Beach Boys pastiche in a way. It's sort of these songs, but it's mostly instrumental. And there's a lot of tracks. There's 29 tracks on it. It's a double album. And it's well done, but it's one of those albums where I look at it on the shelf and I think, I'll never play that, and I don't even really like it that much. And then I play it thinking, I'll play it and I'll get rid of it, and I quite like it. So it's bizarre. It's survived many culls, and I was looking at my shelf again today, my shelves, and just thought, that's still here. And I thought, I haven't played it though, but I've always kept hold of it. I don't know why. I think part of me does actually like it, but I've never been a High Llamas fan. I never bought any of the other albums, but occasionally when I play this, it hits the spot, and it's a strange one. Yeah, it's never really gone off them, but never really into them either, but it's still here. It's just one of those anomalies in your collection. So yeah, High Llamas Hawaii. And show one artist you dislike that you've grown to love. Again, I'm trying to think about this. So there's been a few artists over the years that I've hated and, liked. I mean, one day it might have been Nick Cave. Stranger things have happened, but I doubt it. But one that did come to mind, it might surprise a few people, but Joy Division. So I hated Joy Division at the time, and I hated New Order. And I've never really sort of had a reason for that. I never really, I think I used to hear bits and bobs from and just think, who would listen to that? It's just morbid and it's crap. It's just morbid and bland and, depressing. And, but it's not actually. Well, it is, but it's good. And I've, over the years, I've come to appreciate Joy Division especially, and got into them, and picked up the. I've got Closer, and I've got Unknown Pleasures. So yeah, I'm a bit of a late bloomer in that respect. So perhaps I ought to move on to New Order next and just see, because they're just those bands that everybody rates that I never passed me by, or I just couldn't understand it. But I have got into Joy Division over the last 10 years or so, and really like them now. I get the hype. So yeah, Joy Division, strange. But your tastes do change over time, I guess. And lastly, prompt 10, show one genre you dislike. This was pretty easy, to be honest. It's classical music. I don't get it. Can't understand it at all. And it gives me a headache. When I couldn't listen to it for more than like 5 minutes without it giving me a migraine. It's just one of those types of music. I think it's because obviously it's orchestral, isn't it? And I think there's something about orchestral music that's sort of like, I don't know, it just puts me about, gives me a headache. I can't listen to it for long periods. It's the same with big band jazz. I have a problem with big band jazz for the same reason. I don't know, because it's the sharpness of the horns or just the whole orchestral sound, but I don't get it. I don't get classical music at all. Although I've never tried to get into it because, I just listening to classic FM over the years a bit when it comes on, or whether I've just happened to be in an office or somewhere where it's got it on. I can't stand it. And I don't own any classical records apart from this one. This is on Deutsche Grammophon. It's Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 3 in A minor. And the only reason I've got this is because I bought something off eBay a while ago, and the seller used this as packaging. So it protected the record I bought with this record. So I'm guessing he wasn't a classical fan either. I mean, what would have amused me more than that would have been the fact that if there was a Nick Cave record, then that would have really greatly amused me. So, yeah, bizarre. But I don't know why I've kept hold of it, really. But, it's come in handy for this video, if nothing else. But, yeah, classical music, I don't like it. I don't get it. I just, classical. Yeah. And that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed it, Lloyd. I like your channel, and I like the cut of your jib, mate. So carry on. And if you've not tried Lloyd's channel or checked him out, I'll leave a link below. Let's get him to 400. I think he might already be there, actually. But yeah, he's a great guy. He's worth checking out. And yeah, he is Karamak, isn't he? Yeah, it's a Karamak agrees. So yeah, check out Lloyd, Mr. Hats in the VC. And I'll see you next time. All the best. Stay hydrated. Very important. Yeah. And check your hot elderly neighbours. Okay. Cheers. Bye.